Welcome to the explanation of Magic Emperor Manhwa.
This is part 3. If you didn't watch part 2 yet, click here to watch it. Tongling said, "It doesn't matter, we will stay here." Zhou Fan replied, "Huh, so troublesome." Tongling explained, "If we go there directly, they will criticize us for being impolite. Who knows what those people will think? These are all noble people. If a slave like us goes to their house directly, they'll just get angry. Let's stay at the hotel in front and rest." Zhou told them, "You both go first. I'll catch up later." At this moment, Mrs. Brother Yin arrived and sneered, "Hey, slave dog, you're only here because of my sister's family, yet these days you talk too much. Let the marriage happen first. After that, my brother-in-law and I will show you what it means to be a slave." Zhou retorted, "Forget waiting for your brother-in-law. I'll deal with you first." Yin, feeling humiliated, ran back to his sister, crying. "Miss scolded Zhao, why do you keep doing such things? You know you're a servant. How dare you behave like this toward your master?" Zhou replied, "Your brother started it. If you mess with me unnecessarily, you'll get hurt. If you think I'm too annoying, just get rid of me. I'll go wherever I want." After hearing Zhou's words, no one responded. Zhou walked away, and another person caught up to him, saying, "Brother, how can you behave like this? No matter what, they are your masters. How could you hit him? Stop your nonsense." Meanwhile, in another part of the town, a man was arguing with a noblewoman. The man said, "In what way do you think this is fake? This is the purest jade. I worked hard to get it. If you don't want to buy it, stop wasting my time." The noblewoman replied, "I may not know much about jade, but I've seen real ones before." The man ridiculed her. "You've only seen jade once, yet you think you can tell the difference between fake and real? Everyone, listen to how ridiculous this is." As their argument escalated, a voice interrupted from the side. "This jade is fake," the voice declared. Everyone turned to see Zhou, who stepped forward and said to the man, "Your jade is absolutely fake. I can prove it. That crystal of yours is nothing like the real thing." The shopkeeper, angry, shouted, "Prove it then. I think you've come here just to ruin my business. You're talking nonsense. All my crystals are absolutely real." Zhou Fan replied calmly, "If you don't believe me, let's test it. I'll prove that your so-called genuine crystal is fake." A crowd gathered around, curious about the commotion. Zhou continued, "This is a liquid that anyone can find here, a mix of sulfur and sediment. If your crystal is real, it won't be affected. If it's fake, we'll see the truth." Reluctantly, the shopkeeper handed over the crystal. Zhu placed it into the liquid. At first, the crystal remained green, but then its color began to fade as the liquid turned red. The crowd gasped in astonishment. Zhu held up the crystal and declared, "The color coating on this crystal has come off. It's fake." The noble lady, who had been suspicious of the crystal earlier, said, "I knew it was fake. And now everyone can see the truth." The shopkeeper, shaken, muttered, "Fine, I was wrong." The noble lady added, "Your crystal is worthless. Just 3 spiritual stones at most." Before the shopkeeper could respond, a stone hit his head. Angry customers began to demand refunds for their purchases. They shouted, "You've cheated us!" and in their fury, beat the shopkeeper, leaving him bruised and humiliated. As he cursed Zhou, yelling, "You've ruined my business! I won't forgive you!" The noble lady turned to Zhou and said, "Young master, your eyes are sharp. I suspected the crystal was fake, but couldn't prove it until you stepped in." Zhou replied, "I've dealt with fraud like this before, so I knew the method to expose it." The lady smiled and said, "Thank you for helping others avoid being cheated," before walking away. Later, Zhou found the shopkeeper hiding in a corner and said, "I want to buy the crystal you claimed was real earlier. I'll give you 10 spiritual stones for it." The shopkeeper, shocked, stammered, You know it's fake, yet you still want to buy it? Are you mad?" Zhou replied, "Even though it's fake, it's valuable to me." The shopkeeper demanded more. "Your offer is too low. I've suffered huge losses because of you. I want your life instead." Suddenly, A group of goons emerged from the shadows, surrounding Joe. The shopkeeper shouted, "You ruined my business, and now you'll pay for it." Joe laughed and said, "So, our business deal ends here? Fine. Let's settle this." He summoned his ghost, who killed the goons in an instant. Joe grabbed the crystal and left, heading back to his hotel. Once inside, he instructed his servant Tongling, "Guard the door and don't let anyone in until I say so." In his room, Joe placed the crystal on the table and began channeling his energy into it. Suddenly, the crystal started to glow. Joe whispered, "This isn't an ordinary crystal. It's the fairy blood, capable of immense power." After looking closely, guard the treasure. It takes thousands of years to form and can create a bloody baby, a creature so powerful it can destroy even sacred lands. Following the book's instructions, Joe said, "To activate this crystal, I need my own life force." He cut his palm, letting his blood flow into the crystal. It began to throb like a heartbeat. Exhausted, Zoe muttered, "I can't stop now. If I stop, the crystal won't activate again, and I'll lose my chance to create the bloody baby." As more energy drained from him, Zoe felt dizzy and weak. Blood spilled from his mouth as he gasped, "If I continue, I might die, but I must finish this." The scene ended with Joe on the verge of collapse,